Good morning. Let me remind you today that life has a way of surprising us. What you see right now may not look like much. Maybe it's messy, confusing, or even painful. But let me tell you something. When you step back and look from a distance, it's all part of a bigger, more beautiful picture. Think about this. Have you ever looked at a painting up close? At first, all you see are random brush strokes, colors that don't seem to match, and lines that look out of place. But when you take a step back, when you see it from a distance, suddenly it all makes sense. The beauty emerges. That's how life works. Right now, you might be in a season of waiting. You've prayed, you've worked, you've hoped, but it feels like nothing is happening. Let me encourage you today. Just because you can't see it yet doesn't mean it's not coming. Just because the road looks foggy doesn't mean there isn't a clear destination ahead. Sometimes God allows you to walk by faith, not by sight, so you can grow in trust and patience. Let's be real. Setbacks will come, doors will close. But remember, every closed door isn't rejection, it's redirection. Every delay isn't denial, it's preparation. What feels like a detour today might be the very thing that sets you up for your greatest blessing tomorrow. And don't forget to appreciate the journey. So often we're in such a rush to get to the finish line that we miss the beauty along the way. Even the struggles, the disappointments, the waiting, it's all shaping you, refining you, preparing you for something greater. So if you're in the middle of a tough season, if you're waiting for the pieces of your life to come together, take heart. The picture's bigger than what you see right now. Trust the process. Have faith in what's ahead, and remember, the masterpiece always looks best when you take a step back and see it from a distance. Keep moving forward, even when it's hard to see. Your breakthrough is closer than you think. When we're in the thick of life, it's easy to get caught up in the small details, the setbacks and the struggles. We focus on what's right in front of us, the challenges, the frustrations, the unanswered questions. It's natural because that's what we see every day. But the truth is, life often makes more sense when we take a step back and see it from a distance. That's where perspective comes into play. Think about a beautiful tapestry. Up close, all you see are individual threads, some tangled, some frayed, and others that don't seem to connect. It looks messy and chaotic, but when you step back, suddenly you see the full picture. A stunning design that those threads were creating all along. That's what life is like. The day-to-day moments might feel disjointed, even meaningless at times, but when you look at them as part of a larger whole, you start to see the beauty in the journey. The problem is when we're too close to the situation, we only see the brush strokes. We see the disappointment of not getting the promotion, the pain of a broken relationship, or the frustration of a delayed dream. These moments can feel like failures or roadblocks, but when you see them from a distance, you realize they're part of a much bigger story. That job you didn't get, maybe it wasn't the right fit, and something better is on the way. That relationship that didn't work out, maybe it was teaching you what you need to know for the person who's truly meant for you. The struggles you're facing today could very well be setting you up for the successes of tomorrow. One of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves is the ability to shift our perspective. It's about stepping back and seeing the bigger picture. Imagine you're climbing a mountain. When you're in the middle of the climb, it's exhausting. All you can think about is the steep path ahead, the rocks underfoot, and how tired you feel. But when you reach the top and look back at where you came from, suddenly everything changes. You see how far you've come, the obstacles you've overcome, and the beauty of the journey that brought you there. That's what seeing from a distance does. It gives you clarity, appreciation, and a deeper understanding of the purpose behind the process. In life, perspective isn't just about looking back, it's also about looking forward with faith. Sometimes we're so focused on the immediate challenges that we lose sight of the bigger plan. It's like staring at a puzzle piece and trying to make sense of the whole picture without seeing how it fits. But when you trust that every piece has its place, you start to see the potential in the process. even when it doesn't make sense in the moment. This shift in perspective isn't always easy. It takes intentionality to step back when you're feeling overwhelmed or discouraged. It takes faith to believe that the challenges you're facing today have a purpose, even when you can't see it yet. But when you cultivate this mindset, it changes everything. Instead of seeing setbacks as failures, you see them as opportunities for growth. Instead of feeling stuck, you feel empowered to keep moving forward, trusting that the bigger picture will reveal itself in time. One of the most beautiful things about seeing from a distance is the gratitude it brings. When you look at life from a broader perspective, you start to appreciate even the difficult moments because you see how they've shaped you. You realize that the struggles you faced weren't wasted. They were teaching you resilience, patience, and strength. The disappointments you endured weren't pointless. They were guiding you towards something better. And the waiting periods weren't delays. They were seasons of preparation. So, if you're in a season where life feels chaotic or confusing, take a step back. Remind yourself that what you're experiencing right now is just one part of a much larger story. Trust that there's a purpose behind the process, even if you can't see it yet. Have faith that the picture will become clear in time, just like a tapestry reveals its beauty when you step back far enough to see it. Life is a journey, and every moment, both the good and the challenging, is part of the masterpiece that's being created. So don't get discouraged by what you see up close. Instead, take a step back. Look at the bigger picture and trust that what seems messy now will one day make perfect sense. When you learn to see from a distance, you'll find peace in the process, gratitude in the journey, and faith in the beauty that's still unfolding. You say, faith is often described as the ability to believe in what you cannot see. It's easy to trust when everything is going well, when the path ahead is clear, when doors are opening, and when life feels like it's falling perfectly into place. But real faith comes alive in the moments when nothing makes sense, when you can't see the next step, when you're facing challenges, when the future feels uncertain. That's when faith truly matters. Life doesn't always give us a roadmap. There are seasons when we have to walk through the fog, trusting that what lies ahead is worth the journey. Think about driving in heavy fog. You might only be able to see a few feet in front of you, but you keep going because you trust that the road continues beyond what's visible. That's the kind of faith we're called to have. It's about moving forward even when we can't see the full picture, trusting that each step will bring us closer to where we're meant to be. Faith beyond the moment means believing that the struggle you're facing today isn't the end of the story. It means trusting that the closed doors, the delays, and the detours are all part of a greater plan. Sometimes we get so focused on what's right in front of us that we forget there's a bigger picture. We think, if I can't see it, it must not be happening. But just because you can't see the solution yet doesn't mean it's not on its way. Just because you don't have all the answers doesn't mean the answers aren't coming. There's a story about a farmer who plants seeds in his field. For weeks, he sees nothing but dirt. He waters the ground, tends to it, and waits. If he judged his efforts by what he could see in that moment, he might give up thinking the seeds aren't growing. But he knows better. He understands that growth happens beneath the surface, out of sight. In time, the seeds will break through the soil and bear fruit. That's how faith works. It's about believing that something is happening even when there's no visible evidence yet. Faith beyond the moment also requires patience. And let's be honest, waiting is hard. It's not easy to trust when the timeline isn't matching your expectations. You've prayed, you've worked, you've hoped, and yet it feels like nothing is happening. But let me tell you, just because it feels like nothing is happening doesn't mean nothing is happening. Often the most important work is being done behind the scenes. The roots are growing, the foundation is being built, and what's coming is better than anything you could imagine. Sometimes faith means letting go of the need to understand everything right now. We have this desire to know all the details, to see the whole plan, to control the outcome. But faith asks us to release that need and trust the process. It's about saying, I don't have all the answers, but I know the one who does. I don't see the full picture, but I trust that it's good. When you have that kind of faith, you can face uncertainty with confidence. You can walk through difficult seasons with peace, knowing that what's ahead is worth the wait. Faith beyond the moment isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about acknowledging those challenges while believing that they won't have the final word. It's about facing obstacles with the assurance that they're temporary and that better days are coming. It's about holding on to hope, even when hope feels distant. You might be in a season right now where you feel like you're in the middle of the fog. You don't see the way forward, and it's tempting to stop, to turn back, or to give up. But let me encourage you, don't stop. Keep moving forward. Even if it's one small step at a time, trust that there's more ahead than what you can see. Have faith that the path will become clear as you keep walking. Faith isn't about having all the answers. It's about trusting the one who does. It's about believing that your story isn't over, that your best days are still ahead, and that every step you take is bringing you closer to the breakthrough you've been waiting for. So hold on to faith beyond the moment. Trust that the seeds you've planted will grow, the work you've done will bear fruit, and the challenges you've faced will lead to something greater. What you see today is not the whole story. Keep believing, keep moving forward, and watch as the bigger picture unfolds in ways you never imagined. Life has a way of presenting us with challenges that feel insurmountable in the moment. When you're in the middle of a tough season, it's easy to think, why is this happening to me? Or what did I do wrong? But here's the truth. The struggles you face aren't there to defeat you. They're there to prepare you. Challenges aren't obstacles meant to stop you. They're opportunities to shape you into the person you were created to be. Think about it. No champion becomes great without training. No masterpiece is created without effort. And no diamond is formed without pressure. The difficulties you're facing right now might feel like setbacks, but they're actually setups for something greater. You may not see it in the moment, but every challenge is a piece of the puzzle that's. Consider a caterpillar in its cocoon. It might seem like a season of darkness, isolation, and struggle, but inside that cocoon, transformation is happening. The caterpillar is being strengthened and prepared to become a butterfly. If you were to cut the process short and free the butterfly too soon, it wouldn't have the strength to fly. The struggle inside the cocoon is necessary for its wings to develop. In the same way, your challenges are strengthening you, even when they feel overwhelming. When we face difficulties, it's tempting to focus on the discomfort and frustration they bring. But what if we shifted our perspective? Instead of seeing challenges as problems, we could see them as opportunities. Opportunities to grow, to learn, to discover strengths we didn't know we had. Challenges aren't there to break you. They're there to reveal what you're made of. Every successful person you admire has faced setbacks. Every leader, every innovator, every trailblazer has had moments where they wanted to give up. But they didn't let the struggle define them. They let it refine them. They used the challenges as fuel to push forward. And that's the mindset you need to adopt. What you're facing today is preparing you for what's coming tomorrow. The greater the challenge, the greater the reward on the other side. Sometimes challenges force us out of our comfort zones. They push us to grow in ways we never would have chosen on our own. Think about it. If life were always easy, if everything went according to plan, we'd never have a reason to stretch ourselves. We'd never learn perseverance, resilience, or faith. But when we face difficulties, we're given the chance to rise above them, to discover just how strong and capable we truly are. Even setbacks that seem unfair or undeserved can serve a purpose. You may not understand why something is happening right now, but later when you look back, you'll see how that challenge was part of a bigger plan. It was teaching you patience, humility, or strength. It was positioning you for an opportunity you couldn't have stepped into without it. What feels like a delay or a detour is often a divine redirection, guiding you towards something better than you imagined. Think about an athlete training for a big event. The workouts are grueling, the sacrifices are tough, and the progress might feel slow. But every rep, every drop of sweat, every moment of discomfort is preparing them for the moment they step onto the field or into the arena. Your life is no different. The challenges you're facing are strengthening you, preparing you for the opportunities that are coming. You may not see the finish line yet, but every step you take is bringing you closer to it. It's also important to remember that you're never alone in your struggles. There's a bigger plan at work, and every challenge you face is part of that plan. When you feel overwhelmed, remind yourself that you're being prepared for something greater. You're not just enduring the challenge, you're growing through it. You're being equipped for the blessings that lie ahead. So if you're in the middle of a storm right now, don't lose heart. Don't let the struggle convince you that you're off track. Instead, see it for what it is: preparation. Trust that every setback is setting you up for a comeback. Every disappointment is leading to a breakthrough. Every challenge is building you into the person you were created to be. You are stronger than you think. You are more capable than you realize. And the challenges you're facing today are preparing you for a future that's bigger and brighter than you can imagine. Embrace the process, trust the journey, and remember, the struggle is temporary, but the strength it builds is eternal. Keep moving forward. You're being prepared for something extraordinary. Vision is a powerful thing. It has the ability to pull us forward, even when the present doesn't seem to match the future we're hoping for. But here's the thing about vision: it often requires patience. It's easy to dream about the life we want, the goals we want to achieve, and the person we want to become. But living out that vision takes time. It's not always easy to hold on to the picture in your heart when the reality in front of you looks completely different. That's where patience comes in. Think about a builder constructing a house. They start with a blueprint, a vision of what the house will eventually become. But when they begin, it doesn't look anything like the finished product. At first, it's just an empty lot, and then a messy construction site filled with dirt and debris. If you judge the project by how it looks in the early stages, you might think nothing good is happening. But the builder doesn't give up because they know the process takes time. They trust the blueprint and the plan, knowing that step by step, piece by piece, the vision will come to life. The same is true in our lives. You might have a vision for your future, a career you're working toward, a relationship you're hoping for, or a dream that's been planted in your heart. But right now, all you see is the construction site. You're putting in the effort, you're showing up, and it feels like progress is slow. Maybe you've even started to doubt whether the vision will ever come to pass. But let me encourage you, just because you don't see the finished product yet, doesn't mean the work isn't happening. Sometimes patience feels like waiting, but in reality, it's much more than that. Patience is about trusting the process, even when it's taking longer than you expected. It's about staying focused on the vision in your heart, even when the circumstances around you seem to contradict it. Patience isn't passive, it's active faith. It's continuing to move forward, step by step, knowing that the vision will come to life in the right time. Think about farmers planting seeds. They can't see what's happening underground, but they keep tending the soil, watering the crops, and trusting the process. They know that growth takes time, and they're willing to wait because they believe in the harvest that's coming. The same is true for your vision. You may not see the results yet, but that doesn't mean growth isn't happening. Every step you take, every act of faith, every small effort is contributing to the bigger picture. Vision and patience also go hand in hand because they give us the ability to endure challenges. The truth is, the journey toward your vision won't always be smooth. There will be obstacles, detours, and moments of doubt. But when you hold on to the vision and trust the process, you find the strength to keep going. You remind yourself that the challenges are temporary, but the vision is worth the effort. It's also important to protect your vision. Not everyone will see what you see, and that's okay. Some people may doubt you or discourage you because they can't see the bigger picture you're working toward. but you don't need their approval or validation. Your vision was given to you for a reason, and it's your responsibility to nurture it, to protect it, and to keep moving forward even when others don't understand. Another key to holding on to your vision is to celebrate progress, no matter how small. Sometimes we're so focused on the big picture that we forget to appreciate the small wins along the way. But those small wins are what build momentum and keep us going. Maybe you're not where you want to be yet, but you're not where you used to be. Every step forward is a step closer to the vision. Finally, remember that patience isn't about passively waiting for things to happen. It's about preparing for the vision while you wait. If you're waiting for an opportunity, use this time to grow your skills, strengthen your character, and position yourself for what's coming. If you're working toward a dream, use this season to learn, to refine your craft, and to become the person who's ready to step into that dream when the time is right. Vision gives you a glimpse of what's possible, and patience gives you the strength to see it through. The journey may not always be easy, and the results may take longer than you expected, but don't give up. Trust that the vision in your heart was placed there for a reason. Keep working, keep believing, and keep moving forward. One day you'll look back and see how every moment of patience and perseverance was worth it. What you're building now will be greater than anything you could have imagined. Sometimes life leads us down paths that don't make sense in the moment. We think we're heading in one direction only to face detours, delays, and roadblocks that seem to pull us away from where we thought we were supposed to go. These moments can feel frustrating, even disheartening, but here's the truth. The detours in your life are often divine. They may not be part of your plan, but they are part of the plan. What feels like a setback is often a setup for something greater. Imagine you're driving to a destination and suddenly you hit road construction. The detour sign redirects you onto a different road and it takes longer than you expected. You might feel annoyed or impatient because the detour is inconvenient. But what you don't realize is that the detour is keeping you safe. It's protecting you from hazards on the original path, or it's leading you to a route that's better equipped for your journey. The same is true in life. Detours aren't there to derail you. They're there to guide you. Sometimes we're so focused on our plans and timelines that we forget. We don't see the full picture. We set our sights on a specific goal, a specific relationship, or a specific opportunity, and we think this has to work out. But when it doesn't, we feel like we failed or missed out. What we don't realize in the moment is that those closed doors and unexpected turns are part of a greater purpose. They're redirecting us to something better than we imagined. Take a moment to think about a time in your life when something didn't go according to plan. Maybe it was a job you didn't get, a relationship that ended, or an opportunity that fell through. At the time, it might have felt like the end of the road. But looking back, you can probably see how that detour led you to something better. Maybe it opened the door to a new career path, a healthier relationship, or an experience that changed your life for the better. What felt like a disappointment was actually a divine redirection. One of the keys to navigating life's detours is learning to trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. It's about letting go of the need to control every step and choosing to believe that there's a purpose behind every turn. When you trust that the detours are leading you somewhere good, you can face them with patience and peace instead of frustration. Detours also have a way of preparing us. Sometimes the reason you're being rerouted is because there's work to be done in you before you reach your destination. Maybe there's a skill you need to develop, a lesson you need to learn, or a part of your character that needs to grow. The detour isn't a punishment, it's preparation. It's equipping you for what's ahead so that when you arrive, you'll be ready to step into the opportunity with confidence and strength. Another important thing to remember about detours is that they often reveal unexpected blessings. When we're so focused on our original plan, we can miss the beauty of the journey. But when we embrace the detours, we open ourselves up to new experiences, new relationships, and new opportunities that we never would have encountered otherwise. Sometimes the greatest blessings in life come from the paths we never planned to take. It's also worth noting that not all detours are external. Some of the most significant detours happen within us. Life's challenges have a way of shifting our perspective, changing our priorities, and shaping our hearts. The person you become on the detour is just as important as the destination itself. In fact, the growth you experience along the way might be the very reason for the detour. So if you're facing a season of unexpected turns, don't let it discourage you. Don't let the delay convince you that you're off course. Instead, trust that the detour is part of the plan. Choose to see it not as a roadblock, but as a redirection. Embrace the journey, even when it looks different from what you imagine. Remember, the detour is often the route to something better. What feels like a delay is often a divine alignment. The destination is still ahead, and the path you're on is leading you there, even if it's not the path you expected. Trust the detour, trust the process, and trust that what's waiting for you is greater than anything you could have planned for yourself. The beauty of life isn't just in reaching the destination, it's in the unexpected twists and turns that shape us along the way. When you take the time to step back and reflect, you realize how much more there is to life than what's right in front of you. Sometimes we get so caught up in our current circumstances, the problems we're facing, the delays we are enduring, the things we wish we could change, that we forget there's a bigger picture at play. Learning to see beyond the now, to look at life with an eternal perspective, changes everything. It gives you hope when things seem bleak, and peace when the path ahead feels uncertain. Life is like a tapestry, intricately woven with moments, experiences, and choices. When you're standing too close to the threads, all you can see is the chaos, the knots, the tangles, the colors that seem out of place. But if you step back, you start to see the beauty of the design. You realize that every knot, every thread, and every detail was necessary to create the masterpiece. That's what having an eternal perspective does for you. It allows you to trust that even the messy, difficult parts of your life are part of a greater purpose. When you focus only on the moment, it's easy to get discouraged. You see the challenges, the setbacks, and the delays, and you think, why is this happening to me? Will it ever get better? But when you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, you begin to see that every moment, both the good and the bad, is part of your story. The struggles you're facing today are shaping you into the person you're meant to be. They're building your character, your resilience, and your faith. An eternal perspective also helps you let go of things that don't really matter. So often we get caught up in worrying about things that are temporary. What people think of us, whether we'll achieve certain goals by a specific timeline, or how we compare to others. But when you view life through the lens of eternity, you realize that so many of the things we stress about are fleeting. They're just small moments in the grand scheme of life. What matters most isn't how fast you reach your destination or how perfect your life looks to others. It's how you live, the impact you make, and the legacy you leave behind. Seeing life with an eternal perspective also helps you find purpose in your pain. Nobody likes going through difficult seasons, but those seasons often teach us the most important lessons. They remind us of our strength, show us what truly matters, and prepare us for what's ahead. When you have an eternal mindset, you begin to see challenges not as punishments or random events, but as opportunities for growth. You realize that even the hardest moments can be used for good. Think about the stories of people who have faced incredible adversity. They could have given up, focused on the pain, and let their struggles define them. But instead, they chose to see the bigger picture. They used their experiences to inspire others, to bring about change, or to grow in ways they never thought possible. That's what happens when you see beyond the moment. You stop being a victim of your circumstances and start becoming a victor in your story. Another gift of an eternal perspective is the ability to wait with hope. Life doesn't always move on our timeline, and it can be frustrating when things take longer than we expect. But when you understand that life is a journey and not a race, you stop rushing the process. You trust that what's meant for you will come in the right time. You realize that waiting isn't wasted time. It's preparation time, and you learn to enjoy the journey, knowing that every step, even the slow ones, is taking you closer to where you're meant to be. Finally, seeing beyond the now allows you to live with gratitude. Instead of focusing on what you don't have or what hasn't happened yet, you begin to see all the ways you're already blessed. You notice the little things, the kindness of a friend, the beauty of a sunset, the strength you've gained from a tough season. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's missing to what's present. And when you live with a heart full of gratitude, you attract even more blessings into your life. So if you're feeling stuck or discouraged, take a moment to step back. Zoom out from the details of your life and look at the bigger picture. Remind yourself that what you're going through is temporary, that it's part of a greater purpose, and that your story is still unfolding. Don't let the struggles of today blind you to the beauty of tomorrow. See beyond the now, trust the process, and hold on to the hope that the best is yet to come. Life is more than just the moment you're in. It's a masterpiece in progress, and every thread is part of the design. As we part ways, remember that life's journey is filled with opportunities, and every challenge, every detour, and every moment of growth shapes you into who you're meant to be. Stay focused on the bigger picture, even when the details seem overwhelming. Trust that what you're going through now is leading to something greater. You're stronger than you think, more capable than you realize, and equipped to handle whatever comes your way. Hold on to your vision. Protect it and allow patience to guide you as you take steps forward. Know that every season, whether full of light or full of difficulty, is part of the process of preparing you for what's ahead. Don't be afraid of setbacks or detours. They often redirect you to something better than you could have planned for yourself. Embrace the journey, trust the timing, and continue to move forward with hope in your heart. Lastly, remember that you are never alone in your journey. There's a purpose behind every season, and with faith and perseverance, you will see the fruits of your labor. The future is bright, and the best is yet to come. Keep believing in yourself and the path ahead, knowing that everything will work out in its perfect time. Take one step at a time, keep your heart open, and watch as your vision unfold before you.